Music, news, information. Weekday mornings from 11.
This is North Side Today.
I want to welcome on the phone now, I have Barbara Wiseman, who is Head of Communications with St Michael's House. Good afternoon, Barbara.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm great, and thank you very much for taking the call. We're going to. I can't believe it's the 10th anniversary, Barbara, of the Bring a Book, Buy a Book fundraising
I know,
campaign.
It's very exciting. We're 10 years this year, so started obviously in the last snow. 2008 actually was when we started. So yeah, the book campaign is 10 years this year, and thankfully it's going very well to have a decade of the campaign completed.
And it's also encouraging parents to say tech no. Just explain that to the listeners.
So our campaign is Bring a Book, Buy a Book, where we encourage people to bring books from their home, school or club into their place of work and buy those donated from their colleagues for €2. And the €2 goes back to St Michael's House. Our campaign is 10 years old, so in the last 2 years, obviously technology is huge among children and adults. So in the last 2 years, we've asked people to go techno, which is saying no to technology. Not forever, because we all have these uses, but just for Book Week, which runs from the 1st to the 8th of March, in coordination with World Book Day and with Children's Books Ireland. And we're asking people to go techno, which is close a screen and open a book. So we're hoping people will do that for this book campaign. Yeah,
and the parents can be quite worried about their children being on laptops and not laptops, tablets and their phones and all this because it's
constant, really, and I'm sure as an adult, you see people on buses and trains looking down on their phone, etc. We're all very guilty of it. However, it's important that children get a good understanding of books. We recently did a survey to our own followers and families and community with St Michael's House, and the results came back that 90% of parents are worried about internet safety and indeed their children on tablets, and then 70% were reading more books than in 2008 as adults, but their children are reading less. So we are encouraging people to remember books, remember the value of books, and it's quite widely proven throughout the world that reading is good for your language and your sentence structure and for your brain as regards to developing brain and the English language, etc. So from children's age, it's very important to have that skill. And indeed with adults, it reinforces sentence structure, the ability to write and the ability to read a lot better. So it's really in everyone's favour to read more, and something we don't do when we're on tablets. So we are asking people to take a break from their laptops, their phones especially, and their devices, and to read a book, particularly this Book Week.
Yeah, and I'm looking here at the survey, one of the things are 68% of children under 12 have a device, either an iPad, a tablet or a smartphone.
Yes, they do, and I mean, you can probably think of your own children, nieces, nephews, neighbours that would have a device, very young age in their hands. And I know recently we had Dr. Mary Aiken say the dangers of the internet and the dangers of putting smartphones into hands, young hands, so early. So it has that 68% of the people that we surveyed say to their children do have their own device, not just a family one, but their own. And almost 1 in 4 children, which is 23% of our survey, are now using a device as part of bedtime routine. So we do live in a world of technology. We're not saying no to technology, certainly within St Michael's House for children and adults with disability. It's benefited a lot of our services. However, we want people to remember the value of books. Reading to their child is very important in a time-poor society that we live in, but it does have its sustainable long-term benefits of reading. And yet it is quite frightening that, more than half of the children or the families that we surveyed, more than half prefer screen time to reading. So it's just where we are, I suppose, in the world, but we're asking people to just consider close the screen, open a book for Book Week, and we have, at the moment, we have 200 locations that are doing the Bring a Book, Buy a Book campaign in Dublin. And if people can't get involved, they can text the word book to 50300 to donate €2 to St Michael's House, particularly if they can't get out in the snow today.
Yeah. And is this going on now in all St Michael's House?
Yes, we have. Yeah, St Michael's House have 170 centres north and south of Leinster. But our book locations are in schools, community halls and companies and clubs across Dublin. So we've over 200 locations swapping books for Book Week between the 1st and the 8th of March. In addition to that, we do have our pop-up bookshops in Houston and Connolly stations throughout this week. However, they normally start the 1st of March. This year they're going to start on Monday the 5th due to the weather.
Yeah.
But we do have 200 locations that are swapping and reading books. So it's very positive out there, and there's a lot of support for the campaign. We also fall into the category of books. You know, people are delighted to get rid of the books they've read and get new books for €2. So it's a recycling initiative as well as a reading initiative, as well as supporting our summer project for children with intellectual disability.
And €2 for a book, it's fantastic. And
€2 for a book is great. And what's real good about this campaign is we don't have sponsorship cards or buckets. And while they are of great value for other events, this is one of the events that St Michael's House have that we don't need either of those. So it's lovely when people come to the table and they say, oh, pick up a book for my dad. Actually, my child might like that book. My childminder might like that book. My mum might like, and they pick up 4 or 5 books, and they really don't feel that they've donated, €8 to €10. But they have donated money, but the value that they get back from a book for €2 is great. So the campaign really works for us. So long may we go on beyond 10 years.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be talking again and it'll be 20 years anniversary.
Well, yeah, wouldn't it be great?
Yeah.
It would be super if it continues. But I don't think books are going anywhere. We work in conjunction with NALA, Children's Books Ireland and World Book Day. And, people are realising the value of books. We just have to remind people that screen time isn't important all the time, and just to take a break and pick up a book. So fingers crossed your listeners will do that. Houston and Connolly stations, as I mentioned, are open on Monday the 5th for this year, delayed due to the snow today. But we're hoping that people will go in and pick up bargains for a book for €2.
So, and if that's all kicking off on Monday the 5th.
Yes. Thank you so much. And if people are looking for more information, it is on bringabookbuyabook.ie.
Okay, Barbara, listen, once again, thank you very much for taking the call. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, and thank you to NearFM. You're a great support to our services locally there on the north side in Coolock. So we really appreciate you having us on this year again. And we're always listening to your radio and our services.
Thank you. We are surrounded by St Michael's Houses. We have the one here in Bunratty behind us. We've one in Omni Shopping Centre. We've one down in Artane, and of course Ballymun. So we're well acquainted with you. And thank you very much, Barbara.
Listen, I appreciate that. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, Barbara Wiseman there, Head of Communications with St Michael's House. And do get involved. I mean, €2 for a book, it's for nothing. And it's a great pastime having a read.
This is 90.3 Near FM.